Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advanced Branding Collaborative. Today is Wednesday, August the what? 19th, 2020. So tonight we have a special spotlight guest, Cristian Hauser. Uh, he's a very interesting young man. We've had him on a podcast and got to know him there. So we're going to let him have a little 5 minute spotlight to tell us about himself. Go ahead, Cristian.
Thank you, Roy. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Laurie. And I see my friend Wendy there and also nice seeing everybody. So I don't know if some of you got a little part of what I was saying yesterday. So I promised I was going to continue. And this is the continuation of last week's Zoom call. So as I mentioned, I grew up in a small town in Peru. And I mentioned to Roy and Laurie in the past is that I grew up when I came here to America, my main thing was the big American dream, right? It's something that everybody dreams of. If you're not from America, normally everybody dreams of that little thing, the American dream, to be able to buy a house, a car, and have all those things that you couldn't have when you were growing up. And when I did moving here and I focused so clearly finding the right mentors. I found people like Grant Cardone and everybody else that helped me kind of like discover what it was that I needed to do, kind of like I started achieving the American dream. And I did. I was able to gross over $1 million in sales, and I thought I had it everything. I was secure. I was like, oh, this is it. It happened about 3 or 4 years ago. So I was like, oh, I'm young. This is it. My life is I was set for life. However, I quickly discovered that the truth is very far away from where we live. The American dream was something that I realized it wasn't what I wanted. I bought the house, I bought the cars, I bought everything, and I found myself kind of like very lonely. And not only that, I invested with the wrong people, and they swindled me of every single penny I had. They left me with like $87 in my bank account, and that ruined me. I fell in a very dark place. I didn't know how to get up, but I knew that if I was able to have made that much money once, then I could do it again. And I set up with that mindset. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I have learned my lesson. I actually, after thinking for a long time, I realized this actually was a blessing because not only did I learn who the real friends are, who I can really trust, who were the people that I could really be with, or the people that I could surround myself with, I also started learning good habits because one thing that Roy pointed out to me when I was having a podcast with him and so did Laurie is that normally when you have a lot of money or you are in a certain place, you surround yourself, all these people come out of nowhere. All these people are suddenly your friends and they seem as true as they can be. But the moment you start losing everything is when they really show you their colors. They really show you who really is your friend and who really was just there because they wanted a shiny object to look at. And I discovered that when I lost everything, the real friends stay with me and they really helped me get my mindset motivated. But even when I was trying and everything, I just couldn't get it there. Like I thought, okay, well, if I made it, I can make it again. And it was hard. It was part of my brain was still afraid of becoming successful again. Part of me, even though I wanted to grow, was saying, there's no way, Cristian, you're just gonna fall again. And this fall is gonna be even worse. And I was afraid. And I didn't know how to get past that. And just a couple months ago during the pandemic, I met this wonderful woman called Forbes Riley. I joined, it was a $19 class to join to learn to better your pitch. And I was like, well, sure, why not? Everybody's doing Zooms, let me join this too and figure something out. However, it was that one Zoom call that really changed my life. And actually, if I remember correctly, Wendy actually was in a Zoom call as well. And it really was able to get my mindset correct when I was able to discover myself again. I was able to break through those limiting beliefs that I had of not being able to be successful. And I was so inspired by what she was doing and what she was changing everybody's lives around. I saw Wendy's life change. I saw so many people that were in the same class as me change their lives that I decided to partner with her and create Live Greatness or livegreatness.com if you want to go to the website, where I basically capture some of her more inspiring quotes or most inspiring phrases and I put it on shirts, I put it on hats. Actually, as a matter of fact, this is my favorite hat because the word that says here is forced. And what that means is to manifest something even when no one thinks it's possible. And that's what it is. To me, meeting Forbes, meeting all these wonderful people that came along my journey, that to me was a manifestation of what I needed to be able to be successful again. And that's my story.
Well,
Beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
yeah, you know, they always say the first million is the hardest.
Yes.
Is that true?
So yeah, it's always the hardest. After that, I think it gets a little easier, but the first one is the hardest for sure.
Okay, and your girlfriend is still with you, right?
Oh yes, yes,
Okay.
Roy. Still
Remember
with
what I
me.
told you. Don't forget it.
Yep. Yeah, of course. I wrote it down and everything.
Well, gee, Roy, what is it?
Well, he was talking about, you know, all of his friends disappearing when the money disappeared. But he said his girlfriend was there the whole time. She stayed with him. She was supportive. She was right there. So I told him, I said, look, you're not going to find many women like that. Don't let her go. You need to marry that gal before she gets away.
That's right.
All right, so have you popped the question?
No,
No,
yes.
he's
Like the
waiting for the
pandemic
right
made it
time.
difficult. Yeah, the pandemic made it difficult. So
But
You'll have to
So-
pop the question on a Zoom call, though.
yeah.
Be very apropos. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll
I'm
love
sure
that.
Yeah,
I'm
she'll
like,
love
Yeah.
that, right?
running this-
Very
Very
romantic.
original.
Hey, you do it here with us, and we'll tell you if it's good or not. We'll give you the
I know if record it, and if it doesn't look good, we edit it, you know, to make sure it looks good.
You can practice with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. That could work.
Thanks a lot, Christian. We really appreciated that.
Yeah, very good. Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you.
And we
Thank
wish
you.
you all the best, for sure.
Definitely.
I appreciate it.
So before we go on to our deal, we want to go around and introduce ourselves. I got ahead of myself, sorry. LaurieAnn, you want to start?
Okay, so hi, I'm LaurieAnn. I am that gal. I am a master's certified handwriting analyst from Milton, Ontario, and a podcaster with Roy. And we're just loving what we're doing.
Doc?
I think I'm on, yeah. I'm Doc Grayson. I'm from Wisconsin, La Crosse, Wisconsin, originally from Chicago for 70 years. I just saw a cute thing on the internet today. It's a picture of a Chicago pizza. It was a pizza with a bunch of gun holes in it.
Oh,
But I was a teacher for 40 years, retired. I'm in a nursing home now, and just doing writing. That's what I'm doing now. Been lazy the last couple of weeks, but I got to get going again. You know how
May I
that goes.
interject just quickly too? Doc is the one that inspired me to get my master's certification in handwriting. I love you, Doc. And for
You did a
all the
good
years
job.
that I've
You did a
known
good
you, I
job.
just love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wendy?
Hey, Roy? Or who?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
I was going to say, you want to go next or who introduce who?
Oh, no,
Going next then?
I'll be last. Wendy.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm Wendy Mush. I'm one of the founders of the Advanced Branding Collaborative. I'm also a co-founder of Empower Her Power, which is an online group for women who've suffered abuse and they're looking for hope and healing. So if you know any women that have ever been involved in abuse or are currently in an abusive situation, please send them our way. We'd be happy to have them in our group, either to help those that are searching for hope and healing or to be one of the ones that are searching for hope and healing. And I also have created a course called The Great and Powerful You, a roadmap to personal empowerment. And what else? Oh, you know what? Cristian and I are contributing authors in an about to be bestseller book called The One Habit of Entrepreneurial Success. And I think Cristian, does it come out next week or the week after? Do you know? Do we know yet?
I want to say it comes out early, like kind of like early September or mid-September.
Okay.
I'm actually
cool.
a contributor as well to that. So hello,
Oh, I
everybody.
didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
see I did not see your picture on the
Yeah, I'm here
website.
too.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
cool.
cool.
Congratulations.
So yeah, you guys are gonna have to go and get the book when it comes out. 25 habits, I think, or maybe more actually, for entrepreneurial success.
Can we get a signed copy?
Sure, send it to one of us. We'll sign it, and you send it back.
Roy, I'll buy one for you. Then I'll send it to Wendy. She'll sign it. Then Wendy will send it to Christian. He'll sign it, and you'll have 3 signatures.
There you
Then
go.
I'll analyze it.
There you go.
And I'll report back to the group.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
Too much.
Renee, do you want to go?
Yes. So hi, everyone. My name is Renée Chamberlain. I have a Facebook page where I share daily self-care tips. I educate consumers on their shopping habits. And I live in a small town near Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And yeah, that's it. I'm really glad to be here. I'm a new member in this group since maybe a month ago, and I'm really glad to have met you all. Thank you.
Okay. Glenda?
Hi. I have more energy today. So you might be afraid or something. I'm Glenda Barrington. I live in a small town on the other side of Ottawa.
Yes.
In Ontario, Canada, and in my work, I help women to reduce their financial stress by, taking control of their money and getting out of debt. I have a Facebook group for women. I created it's for a safe space so that women can come in and talk about these kinds of things without judgment or anything. I have a Facebook page. Business page. Yeah, I think maybe that's it.
What's the name of your Facebook group?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called the Women's Financial Wellness Circle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I put our the Empower Her Power address in the chat, so maybe you could do the same thing, Glenda.
Oh, okay.
cool. Yeah.
And just to quick, because sorry, Roy, just to quickly, Glenda is being a little bit, because here it is about, you really need to get to Forbes to actually be able to pitch this beautifully. She does a really good pitch, but she didn't do it tonight. Love you. Because something that she was missing on this is that she doesn't just work with finances, because that's really boring. She also works with the women's mindset, because we were talking about that. When you're going through debt and such, it can really cause a downturn towards your mindset, towards your feelings of value. And she works with that as well. So she balances not just talking to you about, hey, I can help you do this, and you see that glitter, don't buy it because this is a better thing to do. But she also works with your mindset, which I think is really important, because I understand that. We talked about that. So Glenda, remember when you talk about this is really important, because it's not just about finances. It's about women's attitudes towards finances and feeling, ooh, I'm failing, but you're not. You just need direction. So
yeah,
sorry.
Exactly. No, well, thank you, LaurieAnn. It's just that, yeah, I should have been a little prepared. I like to be prepared for things, because going off the cuff doesn't always work for me. But anyways, thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
That's okay. Today's informal, so don't worry about it. It's all good. And there is no better feeling than being out of debt. I'll tell you that. I know personal experience. So, Jenny.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Katz, and I'm from Brisbane, Australia, Queensland, the Sunshine State. And yeah, I'm an MLP coach. I'm a life coach and a timeline therapist and hypnotherapist, and I'm also a nurse. And I help women to empower themselves and to achieve emotional freedom and inner peace to live a happier and more fulfilled life.
Cool.
So yeah, that's me. Thanks, Roy.
Cristian, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, no, no. Everybody seemed pretty wonderful, actually. I like what Laurieann said about Glenda, because I felt like that when I lost a lot of things, my mindset was in the right place. I mean, it's only for women, I know, but I felt like that. And if you have mentioned that, I felt like I was like, oh, really? That's it sounded very interesting.
Cool. Okay. So I'm Roy Miller. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm a fellow podcaster with LaurieAnn. And we're really having a lot of fun doing our podcasts, and they're taking traction now and gaining momentum. So does anybody want to talk about their successes they've had? Who wants to talk about their successes?
Just put your hand up. Somebody
Anybody.
first.
Yeah, anybody. Just go out there.
I'm just gonna say add a little quick something, or how do you say that?
Go for it.
I'm not very, Glenda, I'm the same way as you. I need to prepare when, I need to know what I'm going to say so then I can write it down and read it to you guys. Listen, in the last year, I come from working outside of my home at 3 different jobs.
Wow.
Yes, last year I was working 2 jobs in my business. And this year I'm down to 1 job, which is helping my brother with his business, which is awesome. I work with my brother and my son. But I've been able to replace and earn enough extra income. And I only have the 1 job now and my business. So yeah. Ugh.
That's a great success. You should be proud.
It is. It was, you know, how much time I spent working, and you know, this always comes back to me when I heard you know, when you're working for someone else, you're helping them build their dream. Why should I not build the dream that I have for myself, right?
Yeah.
So that when I heard that, I was like, okay, stop giving your time for, and I was working 3 jobs because they were almost minimum wage, all of them, right? And yeah, I said, I'm not going there anymore, right? I'm worth more than that. And I have more to offer to people than just that, you know? So thank you for letting me be a little bit vulnerable.
But so you
But
had a mindset shift.
Yes, yes.
Right?
True.
When you made that, it turned everything around for you.
That's true. Yes.
What was your biggest challenge in switching over that mindset, though? Because we're talking about successes and challenges, and that's a big success. What was your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge. Where do I start? Ever since I'm an adult, I've had my own business, and I've always held myself back to, you know, I've lived successes, but they're not successes where I could survive and, how do I say that? Create my dreams and really go for my dreams. So that was scary. And even now, sometimes I fall back into that, you know, and I say, oh my God, am I really able to do this, you know, with my business? Will I bring it to another level? That was my struggle, is always, am I important enough to give myself that chance, right? That's a little bit deep, but way deep down, that's where it comes from, right?
So, Jenny, do you have some advice for her?
Some advice. Well, I think she's actually in a pretty good place already now, because she, like you said, she already made that shift to say, I'm building my own dream. I'm not building anyone else's dream anymore, and I'm worthy of that. And that, I think that's the main point, that she says, you know, I'm worthy of more. I don't have to go out and, you know, spend my days with minimum paid jobs that I don't feel fulfilled at all, because I'm worthy more. I'm worthy of that business. I'm worthy of the success. And I think that's incredible. I love that. Renee, well done. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Jeannie?
It feels good to talk to someone about this. Thank you.
Christian?
You're welcome.
Do you have anything you could add to Renee for her?
I think it's incredible what you're doing, especially in such a short time. You said that it was just a year ago. I really admire people that have that mindset to be able to shift it from, okay, I'm doing this for someone else and I'm doing it for myself. I know that you said that, when there's a lot of challenges, I agree 100%. There's always going to be a lot of challenges. And I always believe that as long as you don't forget your why, like why the reason you're doing this, from what I feel, your why is, I don't want to build someone else's dream. It's time to build, it's time to build Renee's dreams. And I always, there will be times, whenever you're building something, sometimes you start doubting yourself. You will find a place where you're like, maybe I should do this back, or maybe I'm not doing it right. But as long as you remember that why, and then you tell yourself, hold up 1 minute. I'm doing this because it's my dream. I'm building my castle. I think that's going to be the strongest tool that you can use towards helping you elevate even more. And I'm proud. If you are making it now, just give it maybe a few more, maybe a month more or 2 months, and you're going to see yourself grow a lot more. One thing I always recommend is find a mentor, someone that has already been there where you are trying to go, and ask for counsel. Don't ask for people's opinions, because opinions are just, words out in the street. You want to seek counsel for it. And if you're able to find someone that already made it to where you want to go, like if you're thinking, okay, I want to go to this level, and you try to find like a mentor or someone that's right there and follow their counsel, then it's going to really help you elevate a lot.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thanks, Christian. Hi, Glenda, do you have anything you can offer?
No, I almost spilled my water. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Or
I'm so excited.
Or for yourself. I mean, have you had the same thing with yourself that Renee is going through?
Well, I think it's fantabulous what she's done. Yay, Renee! Because I did something similar, and what I would say, Renee, is celebrate the wins. Like, no matter how big or how small, make sure you celebrate every step of the way. Because another thing, as Cristian said, your why is probably one of the biggest motivators that you'll have. And even when you get to a point where you're feeling really good, it's always easy to slip back a little bit because you kind of forget where you came from. So then it's easier to pull out the why and say, oh yeah, this is why I did this, right? But yeah, I honestly think that's freaking awesome.
Thanks so much.
Right? Yeah. So now, Wendy, I know you've had some successes in the last couple of months. Go ahead, come on. Since you've been working with the Forbes, really, wouldn't you not say that you've had some real major breakthrough successes?
Yes, particularly in mindset. I am also working on launching my course. I have a business coach, and she's helping me. It's pretty much ready to go. I just need to get it on a platform. And I am impatiently waiting for the Groove platform to open up its membership entity, because I'm tired of nickel and diming everything by having, an autoresponder here and a webinar platform there and this and that and everything else. And so the Groove platform is going to have it all inclusive. And so I'm so excited about that. And so they said August 12th. Well, let's see, today's August 19th and we don't have it yet. But to be fair, it is in beta. So, we beggars can't be choosers.
Now, is that the one Mike Feel Same is doing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's going to be like amazing when it's done. So, so I'm patiently waiting for that to happen so I can put my course there. And we got the opportunity, LaurieAnn and Cristian and I, to be best-selling contributing authors in the book. So that will be wonderful. Amy Morrison and I, who we are the co-founders of the Empower Her Power platform, we're going to be starting a podcast soon, which is a place for women to share their stories, to inspire and help encourage other women who've gone through the same thing. And I'm also developing a virtual assistant kind of side gig to give me instant money. So while I'm kind of developing all these other things. So yeah, if anybody knows anybody who needs some virtual assisting help, let me know. I'd be happy to help out.
Well, I know, Wendy, the COVID hit you pretty hard as far as your work and job, right?
And it still is. Yeah, I work in the schools, and so schools all got shut down in March. And I did get unemployment until school was out for the summer, and then I haven't had any income since then. And so now we're unsure what's going to happen when school's supposed to start again next Thursday. We are opening in our state, but it's kind of touch and go as to what's going to happen long term. So I'm really trying hard to replace that income so that I can not have to be at anybody's mercy.
Cool.
So,
good. Yeah, that's great.
And it's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
long time coming.
You know, maybe in your case, the COVID issue kind of made you push to go in another direction.
Yes, I think the same could be said for LaurieAnn. I'm not sure about anybody else, but yeah, it's had blessings and it's had trials and tribulations, but you know, that's life. We have trials and blessings everywhere we look all the time. So it's just a matter of how we decide that we're going to deal with them.
Yeah. Hey, Doc, do you have anything you want to say?
I think, Renee, you're kind of in the mindset, which is correct, but I'd kind of like to get into the weeds a little bit. Is it a product you're selling, or is it a service you're selling, or what is it you're trying to actually do to get the income?
So I don't sell products. I introduce a wonderful company where people can get their daily essentials, and I educate consumers. So everything that you use for your daily self-care, yeah, I educate consumers on those products,
okay.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Good. I was just wondering that, but it's good you've got the mindset. That's the first big step.
Yes,
It
thank
really
you.
isn't anything.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc. LaurieAnn, what's going on in the LaurieAnn world?
Ha! Okay, so I love this. You know, I was telling people challenges sometimes come before successes. Quite often they do. And of course, the challenge was making decisions. What am I going to do? What am I going to focus on? The other thing is too is to make sure to weed out the things that are stressing you out and focus on the things that are making you happy and where you want to go to. So the successes I've had is I completed my master's in handwriting analysis and graphotherapy, and I also completed a book, which, by the way, everyone here, we have contributors, Jenny and Wendy and Roy and Robert's my co-author as well on it, but it's a book that I copyrighted 15 years ago, and that is finally done. So we're going to get it this month in our hands. So we're really excited. So talk about collaboration. Now, sometimes my mindset's not all that great. Some of my challenges are, you know, when you hear news that's really sad and it puts you off the beat, right? So those are challenges that we have to get past. And right now I'm working from home. So it's not like I'm going out, because when you go out and you go to work, you can kind of move that brain set out of there because you're focusing on all these people. But when you're home and you're working at home alone, that sometimes becomes a more difficult challenge to get past is, you know, personal issues, you know, so finding out bad news. So I'm getting past that. I really want to say that where successes come in is with the completion. This time off has been great for me. It's allowed me to focus on where I want to go. But I've also built a really huge, wonderful community. I met Renée, I met Glenda, I met Cristian, and of course, well, Doc and the rest of you I've all known before that. But these are new people that I've met during this period. And just that support that I've learned, and I think that that's a success, is being able to build that support system as well. And I want to thank Cristian, because, you know, Roy, in our podcast, our schedule is just like getting so full. I'm going to have to start using Acuity. I like to do personal, but we're going to need to do a scheduling. So what are my successes? My successes are my friendship. Have I made, mindset wise, I don't think I'm where Renée is yet, because I just keep thinking, do I have to get a job still at some point? Because I'm not at the point of making the income that I would like to on my entrepreneurial side. And having lost everything at the age of 48, I'm still in that mindset of, am I ever going to retire? Probably not. But I do have great support. Doc, Roy, all of the people here have been greatly supportive. Cristian and Wendy and Glenda today. I'm glad that I met you through Renée, everyone here. And of course, Jenny, the beautiful, beautiful, I don't know, I want your eyes. You have just such kind eyes. But this is where I'm thinking success is not just about the money. It's also about the people. And I have been very successful during this time, in the months that have changed me, to really build a really strong friendship and a community. And I think that that's my biggest success. And my biggest challenge still is making the money to be able to support myself and not have to go back to work.
Well, you know, for me, you know, LaurieAnn and I started a podcast, and really, it wasn't really a serious thing, I don't think, at first. You know, we thought, well, hey, let's try it, you know, what the heck, see, you know. But the more we've been doing it, the more interesting it is, because we've had some really unique people on that podcast. And I mean, it's just so surprising at people and what they do. Just like this weekend, we've got you guys aren't going to believe this, we have a cobbler we're going to interview. Does everybody know what that is? Do you know, Renée? It's a person that makes shoes by hand. So.
How in the world did you find that person? I didn't know.
He's in an organization I belong to.
I didn't think there was any such thing anymore.
Right.
And he's only 34 years old. He's a millennial. That is so different. He's been doing it for over 10 years. 15 years?
10 or 12
Where
years,
is he?
yeah. Huh?
Is he in the US or what?
Yeah. He's here. He's about 25 miles from where I live.
Does he do it for like prosthetics and?
I don't really know. He just does it. He works at a place, and they make shoes and stuff, and he does leather work and all. But I mean, when I was talking to him one time, and I said, so what do you do? And he goes, well, I'm a cobbler. And he looked at me kind of like, I said, oh, so you make shoes and stuff? He says, how'd you know that? And I go, well, I'm a couple of years old. I've heard that term before. So, but anyway.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, it was just, to me, I'm thinking, wow, how many people, if you told them, hey, I know a cobbler, will they even know what it was? Somebody say, well, is it peach or apple? So anyway, so I asked him, he said, yeah, I'll do it. So it's pretty, and he's young. That's one thing. He's a young guy, real family oriented guy, nicest guy you ever meet. But I just thought that would be an interesting, interview,
If he owns this company himself, he'd be a sole survivor,
yep.
A sole proprietor. Hope he's not a big heel.
Don, I tell you what, all your stuff you post like that crack me up. I'll tell you that.
I
Every
know,
time I see
I
your
know.
post, I just go, there's the wordsmith, Don.
And wherever do you find all those memes you have?
It's my curse.
Yes, Renee and Glenda and Cristian, you have to follow Doc. He's got the best puns on his Facebook, and
Yeah.
they're every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You do. They're really something. I mean, they crack me up every time I see one. I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? So, but anyway, so yeah, doing the podcast with LaurieAnn, we've really started kind of really moving with that, and we've lined up a bunch of people. So, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's interesting.
Where can we hear it?
Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher.
Oh, okay.
Are you
What's
on
it called?
Huh?
What's it
Do
called?
you have a link?
Yeah, LaurieAnn,
Yeah.
can you put the link in the chat? Yeah.
Yeah, and we have it on YouTube as well. If you want, Doc, you can watch them because we tape them,
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh,
you
good,
can do
good.
it.
Yeah,
You
we
look
do
for
Zoom,
that.
then download it to the podcast and put the Zoom on YouTube.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's good.
I say we,
Type.
LaurieAnn does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that term we loosely.
So it's on YouTube. If you can do, I have a Google. So if I go, Google, I don't want to do that now because it'll talk to me. And then I go play podcast, that gal with that guy, it will play it. It's
Nice.
also on Spotify. And you can even look it up, Google Podcast, I think, .com.
Yeah, so, but yeah,
And
there's some on there.
Spotify.
Yeah, we interviewed a guy that does TikToks. And
Oh,
this guy, he's one of your neighbors, Doc. He's from Wisconsin.
Oh,
I
is
don't know
he?
where in Wisconsin, but anyway, he is just, I mean, he is the country guy. And he is the most monotone person I've ever heard in my life. But he's hilarious. He is hilarious.
Huh.
and whatnot.
Whatnot. Yeah. Oh, well, we were doing this and whatnot. And then we went over here and had this and whatnot. I mean, but he's a great guy, but he is hilarious. He really is. So, but I mean.
And how did you meet him?
LaurieAnn made him. Somehow, I don't know. Oh, she watched his TikToks, I think, right, LaurieAnn?
He was one of my Facebook friends, and then he started his TikToks, and he would put them on the stories. And
Yeah.
he's not monotone in his TikToks. He's really funny. He changes his little voices, and he makes little jokes about things like, yes, and I wear the pants in the family as soon as I finish the laundry. And he'll just do things like that.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness. And he had the most likes on LinkedIn. I couldn't believe it because I post everything on LinkedIn on our podcast. I put it everywhere. And I said to Roy, I went, oh my goodness, do you know how hard it is to get likes on LinkedIn? It's hard unless you're a Les Brown or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll usually get 2 or 3, but we got 8 so far for him. And I'm going, wow.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, I want to be your promotional manager, by the way, when you're really, famous. I want first dibs on that.
Yeah. But yeah, and his what is it? Cash flow. What is it?
Cash flow king. He says that cash is not king. Cash flow is king.
Yeah, but I mean, he was really, it was a lot of fun. But I mean, he could be saying, well, the plane crashed. I think the people got hurt. I'm not really sure, but whatnot. I mean, just the most monotone person in the world. But he's a nice guy, and he's really entertaining to watch. He really is. So it's definitely. So I mean, we've had some good people, but I mean, he's one that really is fairly recent and really stands out to me. But
And can I just say a quick story to this? Our very first guest, Doris Pereno, we just found out she was a cancer survivor. We had her on our podcast, and I don't want this to be about our podcast, but I just want to say this. Unfortunately, she was out of the country when COVID started and to visit her family, and she passed away this week.
Yeah.
And we were very sorry to hear that, and I couldn't believe it. But we had the pleasure of interviewing her, but here she survived cancer, but COVID
Yeah.
ended her life. Yeah.
She was in Ecuador, wasn't it? She went to Ecuador and she couldn't come back because of COVID.
Oh.
And she'd been there for like, I guess, 3 or 4 months when we talked to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So things we learn.
Yeah. Yeah. So, does anybody else have anything they want to talk about?
I'd like to hear about, just quickly, Glenda, seeing as you're here and we haven't heard from you. What are your successes and your challenges over the last few months?
She may never come back. We keep putting her on the spot.
It's okay. I'll get used to it. Well, thankfully, COVID really didn't affect, well, financially it affected me, but like I work from home anyway, and my partner, he's retired. So we're, you know, we didn't have the added stress of where we're going to each other. So that was good. And well, I guess like Renee and like a lot of us, I struggle with mindset, definitely. And one of the biggest things that I've been struggling with is the imposter syndrome. Similar to Renee, a few years ago, I left my job without a plan and started a business, and it was a very expensive hobby for the last number of years, and because I am an introvert, so a lot of this networking thing was, I found it very overwhelming and things like that. So that's one of the great things about COVID. I don't have to network in public, so it's yeah. But I just put out a program. I just launched it last week, and I have an awesome coach. So in the last year, I've finally stopped. I'm not going to say completely stopped being a wallflower, but I've moved to the foreground a bit, and I've come to realize that, you know, it's not all about me. I have to get out of my head, and my coach keeps telling me that. So I'm out of my head, and I have to realize that my job is to help women and to offer them the opportunities to move forward in their lives. That's what I wanted to do. And the more I stay against a wall and hidden, I can't help anyone. So but yeah, definitely a big battle with the imposter syndrome, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, what do I know? Like, how can I help these women? And one day my coach sat down with, well, virtually sat down. She said, okay, Glenda, I'm going to start listing off some stuff here. I said, holy crow, I'm freaking awesome. And it's like, wow, okay, I'm cool with that. And so anyways, we were working on it, and I'm always trying to say, no, but I want to help these women, this such and such. She said, okay, look, you're in business. And when you're in business, that means you need to make money. That's the point of going into business. Sure, you want to help women who can't really afford to work with you, but you know what? That'll be your thing on the side. But right now we need to start making money. So I'm had to flip that switch also, right? So that was, okay, good. And then it was, okay, I need to bump things up. So with my coach's help, over the last few weeks, I've done a launch, and that included like creating the freebie, and then it moved on to a live webinar, and then it was the big launch. And this is like the grandmama of programs here. And like, first I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to ask someone for that much money. And so my coach is saying, okay, what are you doing for these women? Like, what is the end result? What is the transformation? And I'm there, well, it's like blah, 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 blah. She said, think of it, Glenda. Look at what you're doing here. It's like, incredible. Okay, I'm going to do it. So yeah, I launched it. And I have one kind of on the fence right now because, like I said, it's pretty high ticket. But you know what? I don't care. Well, I do care, obviously, because I would love for her to work with me. But the thing is, I've passed, like I put all that behind me, and I've come to a point now that I can't turn back. I can't be that person that I was yesterday because I've already done the big thing. And that's what she wanted me to do is like, well, what if I sell something for like $37? And no, yeah, that would be great later, but we're going to try something bigger. And so that's what I did. I went all in and I said, here you go. Here's the grandmama. And you know what? Whatever happens, it's okay. If I get clients in there, whoa, I'm going to sing. It'll be like, oh, but if I don't, I'm okay. I'm okay there also because I've made it. I've flipped that switch and there's no going back. I know I can do it. Yeah. So that's my, I bet you might be sorry now that you asked.
No, but what I was thinking is just like Cristian said, find that mentor. You've done that and it propelled you to where you are. And you're talking about not knowing. I had a mentor tell me, because I said, well, I don't really know. He said, look, do this. Do a self-assessment. Everything you know, everything you're good at, resources you have, people you know, whatever. Do that. He said, then take 5 people you think know you the best and ask them to tell you what they think you're good at. And I said, well, I don't know. He said, no, it can be relatives, it can be friends, people. It doesn't matter who it is. 5 of the closest people to you, ask them, what am I good at? What do you think I'm good at? And it's surprising what they tell you. It really is. And you go, really? You think that?
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't see yourself in the same way. You're looking at yourself in this little box, but someone else is looking in and they're seeing a whole different person because we tend to kind of say, oh yeah, I'm not really that great or I'm not really this until someone points it out. And you know what? I started saying, I'm awesome. I don't care when anyone else says I'm awesome. That's all to it.
Well, it's funny because I know at work, I just, when I was in my job, it's just you're just doing your job every day, same old, And I had a guy come to me one time and said, you know what, man, I wish I could be like you. I go, I don't think you really do, but okay. He goes, I said, why? He goes, you have a knack of picking the right person for the right job. He said, I don't know. I said, well, I don't know. I just think this guy likes to do this. If he's doing this, he's going to be happy. He's going to work hard, and that's just kind of how I always base it, on who's the right guy to run this job, who's the right guy to do this on this job, anyway. So I never really thought about it. You know what I mean? But I had more than one person tell me that, but I never saw it. It's just, I'm just doing my job. Right. So yeah, I get it.
I think the hardest thing, and my daughter went through this, she did the SWOT, and she had to go to 5 people, not just ask her strengths, but 5 people to ask her weaknesses. And those are the hardest things to hear. It's great to hear and I told her, wow, you're great, you're smart and everything. And then she says, well, my friend told me that my weakness is that I am privileged as a child because my father is rich and that's one of my weaknesses. Interesting thought. And that bothers her because her father's income, she does not equate to hers, but that's what someone said to her. And she goes, Mom, is it true? I'm going, kinda. You expect to come and live with me and not pay rent. That's kind of privileged. That's kind of, but it's the hardest thing to do is look at 5 people and ask them what your weaknesses are, but your weaknesses are equally as important as your strengths. So Doc, don't say anything. I don't want to hear it from you.
That's why I was
I
asking.
think, whoops.
That's why I was asking about your podcast. Thought I'd go on it sometime.
Then you can give me my 5 weaknesses. Okay,
Oh,
I'll
there
get them
you
all
go.
from you. Never mind that.
What do you call that, Wendy? Constructive feedback, right? Constructive feedback. Yeah. So does anybody else have anything they want to talk about or say?
Yeah, I wanna share something. And it's not about business, but it's on the health front. So I made a big breakthrough with my health, because I came to the point where I just felt like I was just so exhausted and drained, and I just felt like I was basically going from one cup of coffee to the next to sort of get through the day, you know, with work, everything going on with the kids. And and I really did some research and, you know, read up on it. And I actually found that I probably had or still have adrenal fatigue, because this is just how I felt. I just felt like my body was sort of, you know, just so exhausted. And I just felt in the evening that I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep properly. So my body was still pumping sort of the cortisol, the stress hormones, and I just put my body, you know, under too much stress at that point. And the one thing that I did that was pretty hard for me is gave up coffee. Because I love coffee. I just love my coffee. But I had a lot of it. So like I used to drink like 4 or 5 cups a day, like big cups. And I just felt it wasn't, you know, it wasn't serving me anymore at this point. And so I went through the cold turkey. I just stopped. And I have to say the first 3 days were pretty rough. So I had like major headaches. Then I had like really like cramps in my legs and muscle ache. And that one night I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. And it felt like I had ants running through my brain. So it was like, it was really weird. But at that point, I really just realized what that coffee does to my body, actually, you know, that I'm really robbing my body the ability to create the energy itself, that I'm always, you know, putting like stimulants into my body all the time to keep it going. And yeah, after these 3 days, I felt much better. So now I can just, you know, function much better. So I just want to put it out to everyone who's struggling with, you know, energy levels and stuff, maybe really look at giving up coffee. So I feel like, you know, massive difference. I'm not feeling tired during the day at all. Whereas before, 2 o'clock, I could just lay down and sleep for 2 hours, you know, and now it's just, yeah, it's amazing. So I still drink decaf coffee, but I really have reduced that as well. And yeah, so this is my big breakthrough for the last couple of weeks, that I just feel, you know, more relaxed and just, you know, can sleep better again and feel like my body is really recovering. And I also changed a few things about my diet. Like when I get up in the morning, I'll have a smoothie straight away, like in the first hour. And that really helps to get your adrenals started, to get your body functioning when you have your breakfast in the first hour. So it will actually help you to create more energy in your body. So yeah, that was my big breakthrough.
So it sounds like you had caffeine withdrawals since.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It was like these 3 days were like horror, honestly, but it was definitely worth it, and I'm not going back to it.
You probably should have stepped down a little bit and not just done it cold turkey.
I can't do it. But for me, it's all or nothing. It was the same when I used to smoke when I was younger. I started to reduce it, but then it didn't work. For me, it's like all or nothing.
Yeah, all in.
Would you say that tea as well? Because tea has caffeine in it. And I'm kind of like you. Every now and again.
I don't drink tea. I don't drink tea at all. Like not
it
just
would
the
be
decaf.
caffeine, right? It would be the
Yes,
caffeine.
yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
So what are you drinking now in your cup,
Decaf.
which still has 30% caffeine?
No, this one doesn't. It doesn't have any caffeine.
Mm.
So it's really good. And I only drink like once a day, and the rest I'll just drink like herbal tea or something. But yeah, it was just like a habit as well, Just like this, it was like smoking, that social thing as well. Oh, let's just go have a cup of coffee together. Let's just sit, have a coffee together. Yeah. So it's breaking the habit as well.
And Jenny, I
yeah.
was gonna say there's a book called The 4-Hour Body. It mentions kind of what you are doing, and he also mentions how you can take away sugar from your body. And I did it. I was like, okay, let me start having sugar. And I had the same withdrawals. Like I was going crazy because I didn't realize how much it's kind of like a drug, like sugar and caffeine. It's kind of like a drug. You had those withdrawals. So it was crazy how I started removing it, and the first week it was the most difficult week of my life. But then after that, I started seeing my own body just creating it. I felt more like I didn't need it anymore. I was like, wow, I felt more awake. I was being able to move better, and it was crazy. It was crazy. Every once in a while, I get tempted with like Laffy Taffies and stuff like that, but it was a big challenge.
Did you say it's called The 4-Hour Body?
Yeah, The 4-Hour Body by Timothy Ferriss.
The 4-Hour Work Week guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did the same thing with carbs about 10 years ago.
Really?
And yeah, about 4 days it took me. I wanted to kill people for 3 days. And it was all I could do to keep from killing people for 3 days.
Well, they say sugar is more addictive than cocaine.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of wow.
Sadly, it just doesn't do to you what cocaine does to you like that.
No. Over a long period of time, it hurts you real bad. But
yeah.
So, does anybody else have anything they want to say? No.
We are 8 o'clock at the top of the hour.
So, Doc, thank you for being on. Appreciate it. Renee, good to see you again. Glenda, it was nice to meet you. Cristian, always good to see you. Wendy, LaurieAnn, Jenny, as usual.
Yeah, we're just here,
Yeah. You guys, man.
Not just here. We are here.
But thanks everybody for coming on. Really appreciate it. Enjoyed talking to all you guys, and hopefully you'll be back next week.
Hey, Roy, who's doing the spotlight next week? Do we have any volunteers?
We do. We do have one. In fact, is Aaron Konow that we talked about, Mr. TikTok.
Yeah.
But he wants to know our subject, so we have to come up with a subject that works along with him, and he will do the 5-minute spotlight. And I seriously will really appreciate it. I know he does the whatnot a lot, but he's just so adorable.
Yeah. He's a good guy, a really good guy. Just
it's no different than Roy saying y'all. It's just a local colloquialism they say in that part of the country.
Now, Wendy,
whatnot.
Now, see, you're starting to sound like Cristian there, because he told me that he liked my accent. And I said, I don't have an accent. You have.
Yeah, you got a big accent, Roy. Just like Texas, you got a big accent.
It's called Southern charm. It's not called an accent. All you guys have accents.
Everyone else has an accent, yes. Not in Texas. You don't have an accent.
All you Canadians say a boot. And what's the other one?
Process. You say process.
Process instead of process, yes.
And product instead of product.
Product, yeah.
ZZ. But we do say about. We don't say a boot. We say about. Unless you find, I don't know, Glenda, Renee, we say about, don't we?
Yeah.
Right, we don't say a boot.
No, you say a boot.
A lot of people.
Say about.
A lot of
you don't, LaurieAnn, but Renee does.
And then the eh?
Hey.
How you doing, eh?
Hey.
Take off, eh?
But just remember this. Okay, before we go, just remember this. If you're at a 4-way stop, us Canadians will go, Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Whereas the
Canadian
US people go, I don't care, it's
Actually-
my way.
Actually, it's we Canadians, not us Canadians.
Oh, here we go.
I know, Doc. We just can't win here. All right, guys, we're gonna go.
Bye.
Okay,
Head out.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good week.
Have a great week.
We'll see y'all
Bye-bye.
next week.
See ya, us Canadians. We're gonna go.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Uh-oh.
Roy went off.